You're watching Sky News. It's 11:15 on a Friday morning. Gareth Barlow with you. I want to bring you some breaking news now. This is in relation to the search at the yacht, the super yacht that had sunk in Sicily. Italian media are reporting that divers have found the body of the last person missing after that yacht capsized off the coast of Sicily. It was believed that there was one remaining victim. That was 18-year-old Hannah, who is the daughter of Mike Lynch that owned the vessel. Well, Italian media are reporting that divers have found that body. Let's bring in our correspondent, Ashna Hernag, who is on scene for us. Ashna, what more can you tell us?
We've learned in the last few moments that the Italian Coast Guard have located a sixth body in their search in that sunken super yacht, the Bayesian, which sunk off the coast of Sicily in the waters behind me on Monday morning. This comes as we have been learning that 5 of those that were missing on board, their bodies were recovered from the vessel yesterday. They included Mike Lynch, Jonathan and Judy Bloomer, and Chris and Neda Morvillo, friends of the family. And we knew that 18-year-old Hannah Lynch, Mike Lynch's daughter, was still missing. So we are learning in the last few moments that from the Italian Coast Guard, that divers who are searching that shipwreck, that they have located the sixth body. They are working now to bring that body ashore, as we have seen happen over the past few days. This comes as tributes are being paid in a continuing fashion. They're coming thick and fast to those victims of this tragedy, not forgetting, of course, the Riccardo Thomas, the chef on board that yacht. His body was found in the hours after that vessel sunk on Monday. But there were still those 6 people missing on board. Divers have been working incredibly hard to get specifically into the 6 cabins that this yacht had. And as we have been learning, divers spent all day yesterday searching for that one remaining person who we believe to be the British university student to be, Hannah Lynch. And as we're learning now, it says that they are saying to us that they have located somebody. Now, tributes, as I say, being paid all day and yesterday too, particularly to British tech tycoon who is a star of British business, 59-year-old Mike Lynch. We know his family owned this vessel. They had been out on a celebratory trip. He'd been acquitted in June after a US trial. Cleared of all 4 charges, and people have been remembering him after he was confirmed to have been one of those located on board, describing him as a kind, compassionate man, someone who did so much for charity, but also did so much for technology, the technology industry. And people have been remembering too, husband and wife, Jonathan and Judy Bloomer, and Chris and Neda Morvillo. But as we have been learning from the Italian Coast Guard, who has just confirmed to Sky News that they have located a 6th person.
And Ashna, we've heard throughout the course of recent days of the challenges of conducting this search. Whilst this vessel is fairly close to the shore, it lies now on the seabed 50 metres below the water, and so many times we've been told the challenges that poses to the divers. They only have a minute to descend down to the vessel, 10 minutes to conduct a search, and then a minute to return before the impact of that water pressure is too great on them. And that would attribute to the challenge in finding this 6th body. We now, I assume, have to wait for that body to be recovered from the vessel, which again in itself another challenging issue.
We've been learning that the site has been very complicated, and it's meticulous work, as you've been describing. And as we've been telling viewers over the past few days, there have been divers from right across Italy that have been brought here to the port of Porticello. This is a very small fishing village. They are not used to seeing anything like this. But divers we know have been brought in from Rome, from Naples, from Sardinia, brought here to work on this search and rescue operation, which has been concentrated on the vessel, which we know has been tilted to the side. It's lying on the seabed, some 50 metres below the water, and all day, for the past 5 days now, we have watched as the Coast Guard vessel has been on site. That has been acting as almost like a mobile command centre, as next door to it there have been a number of other smaller tenders, smaller vessels, both from the search and rescue teams here for the firefighter service, but also we've seen some marine military divers working and helping out with the operation too. Not everyone, not every diver, specialist diver, is skilled and qualified enough to do this sort of work. The conditions underneath there, we knew they were working in complicated conditions. There is debris flying around inside the vessel itself. We knew that some 2 days ago was the first time they actually got access inside the vehicle, the vessel. They'd cut a hole, we believe, inside the hull, and they'd been accessing it via that hole. And as I was mentioning, it was the 6 cabins they were keen to get into, because it's understood, or it was thought, that those who remained on board may have been sleeping at the time. There were reports that the yacht began to tilt at 4 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and by 4:30, so within half an hour, people report seeing the yacht not there anymore. It had been standing against this beautiful backdrop of this fishing village. It is a 72-metre sailing mast that it's boasted, that it's infamous for, that it's famous for, and 56 metres in size. It's a huge vessel, and compared to the other smaller fishing boats that are around us as a fishing village, as I mentioned, it really stood out to people, and it was very clear, it was very evident as soon as they woke up and at first light that boat wasn't there anymore. Instead, the air was filled, or the village was filled with the sound of sirens. There were blue lights everywhere. People described this chaos that they saw unfolding. And every single day since, the divers, the search and rescue teams have committed to committed to reiterating that this was a rescue operation. But as we have now been learning over the past couple of days, this very much has turned to a recovery mission, in the fact they have brought ashore 5 people who are still missing on board, and now have located the 6th person. The diving teams, as I say, have been working hard. They have been assisted, because of those complications and difficult conditions they're working under, by a lot of technology too, specifically a remote-controlled underwater vehicle that's able to comb the seabed. It's able to operate up to 300, in depths of up to 300 metres. So the fact we're working within a 50-metre space has provided a little bit, it's meant that pictures and videos have been able to be beamed back to base here in those tents behind me very, very quickly. Those pictures are going to be used to aid any investigations that are ongoing, both from the British perspective but also the Italian authority. And we know that rover is able to operate for up to 7 hours underground, which is very different to the divers who obviously can only stay underneath there for about 10 minutes at a time before they then need to change diving equipment. There are huge safety risks, of course, they are taking in doing this work, but also, given the fact that they are looking and searching for people, for bodies, it is also very distressing work. It will be very traumatising for them to have to conduct such immense work. They know that they are ultimately searching for missing people and coming across those people. Many say that work in this industry, it is incredibly distressing.